Article 4, General Obligations. States parties undertake to ensure and promote the full realization of all human rights and fundamental freedoms for all persons with disabilities without discrimination of any kind on the basis of disability. To this end, states parties undertake to adopt all appropriate legislative, administrative, and other measures for the implementation of the rights recognized in the present convention. To take all appropriate measures, including legislation, to modify or abolish existing laws, regulations, customs, and practices that constitute discrimination against persons with disabilities. To take into account the protection and promotion of the human rights of persons with disabilities in all policies and programs. To refrain from engaging in any act or practice that is inconsistent with the present convention, and to ensure that public authorities and institutions act in conformity with the present convention. To take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination on the basis of disability by any person, organization, or private enterprise. To undertake or promote research and development of universally designed goods, services, equipment, and facilities as defined in Article 2 of the present convention, which should require the minimum possible adaptation and the least cost to meet the specific needs of a person with disabilities, to promote their availability and use, and to promote universal design in the development of standards and guidelines. To undertake or promote research and development of, and to promote the availability and use of new technologies, including information and communications technologies, mobility aids, devices and assistive technologies, suitable for persons with disabilities, giving priorities to technologies at an affordable cost. To provide accessible information to persons with disabilities about mobility aids, devices, and assistive technologies, including new technologies, as well as other forms of assistance, support, services, and facilities. To promote the training of professionals and staff working with persons of disabilities in the rights recognized in the present convention, so as to better provide the assistance and services guaranteed by those rights. With regard to economic, social, and cultural rights, each state party undertakes to take measures to the maximum of its available resources and, where needed, within the framework of international cooperation, with a view to achieving progressively the full realization of these rights without prejudice to those obligations contained in the present convention that are immediately applicable according to international law. In the development and implementation of legislation and policies to implement the present convention, and in other decision-making processes concerning issues relating to persons with disabilities, states parties shall closely consult with and actively involve persons with disabilities, including children with disabilities, throughout their representative organizations. Nothing in the present convention shall affect any provisions which are more conducive to the realization of the rights of persons with disabilities, which may be contained in the law of a state party or international law in force for the state. There shall be no restriction upon or derogation from any of the human rights and fundamental freedoms recognized or existing in any state party to the present convention, pursuant to law, conventions, regulations, or custom, on the pretext that the present convention does not recognize such rights or freedoms, or that it recognizes them to a lesser extent. The provisions of the present convention shall extend to all parts of the federal states without any limitations or exceptions. Article 5, Equality and Non-Discrimination. The states parties recognize that all persons are equal before and under the law and are entitled without any discrimination to the equal protection and equal benefit of the law. States parties shall prohibit all discrimination on the basis of disability and guarantee to persons with disabilities equal and effective legal protection against discrimination on all grounds. In order to promote equality and eliminate discrimination, states parties shall take all appropriate steps to ensure that reasonable accommodation is provided. Specific measures which are necessary to accelerate or achieve de facto equality of persons with disabilities shall not be considered discrimination under the terms of the present convention.